So what part of Graham take this part out was unclear?
Well, when you put it that way, I mean...
Yeah, you left the stuff in, you made Kenny Kravitz cry, you're fired.
He's
That's
a
all there's
wuss.
to it. Who am I going to get over?
Glasses!
Colin, you've been promoted. You're the chief editor. I need your open.
But you haven't seen it yet.
Listen, we don't have time. Roll the open.
All right.
GUTV Bracketology. It's dino-rific.
What was that?
Are we really? That's the way we're using that, right?
Yes, we have to use that.
What happened to Grams? Grams was so much better. For what?
I made it the desktop background. Welcome to the second installment of GUTV Bracketology. I'm David Gentili, and I guess we'll kick it off tonight with some breaking news. Apparently, our editor, Graham Enos, has been fired, D.
Yeah, and I'm Dave Soto, and Graham's not only having a tough time editing, he's having a tough time making a bracket, too. He is already mathematically eliminated after the first weekend.
Yeah, actually, you know, we didn't want to mention that last week because we didn't want you to think anything less of Graham, but, you know, thinking about it, Colin brought it up to us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of sounds like Colin's got it out for this guy.
Yeah, it all seems like an inside job. I don't know what they're doing over there. Good thing I'm on camera. All I know that's all straight.
Well, we'll be interested to see this show, how things go about Graham, but, oh well, show goes on. Here we go. Overall bracket standings, the leader, still Jennifer Garrity, 218 points. If Kentucky wins in their next game, she will win it all.
And second place right now, Gunnar Berg, 214 points. Unfortunately for Gunnar, picking the Blue Devils, not a smart pick as they bowed out to Arizona.
Tied for second with 214 points is Joe Redding, who works right here in Spokane for SWX NBC Sports and Weather affiliate.
Yeah, all that sports knowledge really must have helped. And in fourth place right now, Professor Garrity, 213
Sucks.
points. Yeah, it really, it's got to be, I don't buy it. He must have rigged it or something. I think he's an administrator in the bracket. I am sold that he went in there after and found out who won and changed his picks.
I wouldn't put it above the guy. I mean, I think that was one of the things he might have strategized about, picking Gonzaga, you know? Well, you know, I picked Gonzaga, you know, I wasn't really trying to win. Come on, Dan.
Yeah, we don't buy it. Anyway, if UConn wins, then loses, he wins it all. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
And rounding out the top five, another one of the usual suspects, Brenna Green with 210 points. Moving on now to the Parrot bracket. Once again, a two-horse race. Bill Rosenberger winning it with 184 points. My mom, Pam Gentili, with 182. Almost pulling it off, but actually, you know, we have a bit of an update on that. I talked with my mom earlier this week, and she told me that in the first round, she picked West Virginia over Clemson. I've never known her to tell a lie. I'm a bracket administrator, quick fix. And she wins it, 188 to 184. Let's go, Mom.
Conspiracy.
All right, okay.
Conspiracy.
No,
a lot of
no.
controversy.
No.
A lot of controversy here at GUTV Bracketology. Let's jump into the alumni bracket. Joe Redding right now leading the way. You've heard his name before. Shallon Clark making noise from Hawaii with 208 points. Cassie Ecker-Williams right now with 192 points. Pretty solid bracket right now.
Not too bad, and I want to give one more guy a shout-out. We talked about him last week, Kenny Kravitz, sitting at 24th overall. Not looking too good, but he's actually one of the only three people that can win this thing. He has 175 points, and if UConn wins the national title, he will take GUTV Bracketology.
Kenny, you would love to make history. You would love to be the first winner. As an administrator, I can make that happen, man. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. I look good in glasses. That's all I'm saying.
The only thing is, don't send him the same pair of glasses. It's not the glasses like we said last week. We saw them on Dan. Nobody's going to want to wear those now. We know that.
I will never wear the same pair of glasses as Dan Garrity again. So
good luck to you, Kenny, but, you know, if you hook us up, you won't need any luck. Well, this week, fifth place in the alumni bracket means you win our Alum of the Week award. Congratulations to Cassie Ecker-Williams. Let me tell you a little bit about her in Dan's words. Dan said Cassie was a very talented producer and could easily have made a living at producing, but she chose a different path. News was her thing in college, and currently she is a third-grade teacher at Notre Dame Catholic School in Denver, Colorado.
Now, we've been told Cassie was a trendsetter during her time here at GU. She was the first to introduce a class pet to the students here. Cassie recently sent us an email saying, "In the fall of my senior year, I adopted a border collie mix named Lily. The day I picked her up from the Spokane Humane Society, I had to rush back for Monday's show. I brought Lily with me to the broadcasting building, and Dan said she could stay, as long as she didn't pee on the carpet. Even though I would be busy producing the show, I never worried about Lily because I knew there would be lots of extra hands that could help me with a new little puppy while the show was going on. During my time at Gonzaga, we formed a broadcasting family that has always looked out for one another. And David, I think that's still true today.
Yeah, you talked about her being a trendsetter. Cassie also said she recently came back to GUTV here in the studio and met the new four-legged friend in Gonzaga broadcasting. Well, his name is Barkalow, a part German Shepherd, part Husky who lives at home with the Garrity's, a regular face here during school days. And as you're about to see, I think Barkalow had a hand in making sure you and I aren't in the top 5 of this year's bracket.
Pittsburgh or Butler? K-State or Wisconsin? Gonzaga or BYU? Are you sure? Okay.
David, I knew it. All this time we were wondering how the Garrity's have been so successful. We should have known it was Barkalow the whole time.
Yeah, I'm sitting in 35th place right now. I'm obviously not pleased about that. So I think my strategy for next year is going to be, well, I'll go ahead right now and call dibs on it. I'm going to use my roommate Chris's hamster, whose name is Mario, to help me make my picks. Hopefully I'll have a little more success in this year.
Yeah, to be expected. I'm going to go ahead and assume right now you're going to pick Kansas. That's a pretty predictable pattern.
No matter what Mario says, KU all the way.
Speaking of predictable patterns, David and I have noticed a long line of upperclassmen who came into GU not as broadcasting majors.
Yeah, they made that initial mistake, but we're here with somebody who has turned to the good side. Pardis Nicoy was a former business major. She's now in our introductory level course, Broadcasting 203. And Pardis, I want to start by asking, why did you choose to become a broadcasting major?
Well, you know, I was kind of getting bored with the business major in general. It was just a lot of the same stuff, repetitive, sitting in a classroom. And I had a friend ask me to come into his 203 class to be interviewed. And Dan Garrity kind of told me I had an ability in front of the camera. So I kind of went farther into it and researched and talked to my other friends that are already broadcasting majors and decided that it was a place for me to be.
Pretty so. What are some of the fun stuff you learned so far from your time in the program?
Well, I mean, just learning about the cameras and the, you know, the graphics and the audio and everything that it takes to make a show has been really interesting to me, and I really like it.
One of the things Professor Dan talked about that was big at the beginning of the year was you're never going to watch TV the same way. How has that changed your perception of TV so far?
Oh, wow, so much. Every time I'm watching TV, I'm paying attention to the camera angles they're using, where their graphics are placed, you know, transitions between scenes, everything. It's changed it a lot, but I mean, it's helping with the learning process too.
Yeah, he's ruined television for me personally. What does Typra mean?
Typra. Well, Typra is the name of a show that we came up for a skit that we did a couple of weeks ago. And it's a smash between Typra and Tyra. It's a talk show that's basically, you know, the best talk show host.
I think we should do that. It could be called David.
We always get that when we go to fast food restaurants. Same name that people like to laugh at us. So, yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Pardis, thank you so much for joining us and putting up with us. Well, unfortunately for you, it's now time for us to take a break. But do yourself a favor and stick around because we're going to have a breakthrough through the 303 program.
Might as well cover the advanced program while we're at it, too. And the best way to do that is by talking about the best show in GUTV history. And we have 2 people here in the studio who knew just what that was all about. We'll see you on the better side of the break.
Hi guys, Professor Dan here. That's right, the one from the show. Thanks for asking. But I'm here now to thank you for taking part in GUTV Bracketology, the very first time we've tried something like this, reconnecting you guys with the current students. I also wanted to thank you for all of the money that you've donated to the program. And with that money, you're going to help support us as we go on the best homework assignment ever. On May 9th, just one day after graduation, I'm going to take 3 Gonzaga students over to Turkey. We'll visit 3 different cities, Gallipoli, Troy, and Ephesus, and we'll take you along with us, a digital media storytelling safari that you can watch online. And I hope you really do check out what we do and know that you have been contributing to the whole effort all through GUTV Bracketology. Now the boys have a big announcement to make. How much money have we raised so far, fellas?
David doing his best Vanna White here. David, stop keeping us waiting, man. Let's open up that envelope.
What do you think? About 1,000, 2,000 bucks we're going to get started?
I'll say 500.
Okay, fine.
$20.
Solid 20 bucks, okay.
$20 from you alum. There's nothing else like in the envelope, or that's just it. It's really $20.
There might be a 0 in there on white.
That's normal $20. Hey, you know the good thing is there's plenty of time for you alumni to keep pitching in more than the $20 you guys have sent in. Log on to gonzaga.edu/make-a-gift. Enter broadcasting as your designation, and then, come on, guys, $20. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, a slow start, but hey, at least it shows that people are watching, and I guess we can go ahead and reward you guys for that. Here's the package we have from Broadcasting 303, which for those of you who don't know is our intermediate level broadcasting class. And alums, be sure to take a look at something that might not have been there when you were in 303.
Every year, candidates put up signs like these behind me in order to get the vote from GU students. However, what most voters don't realize is that hidden behind these campaigns is a group of individuals with an extreme passion for their school and the student body.
I've noticed a big improvement in campaigning this year as opposed to the past 3 years I've been here. I've seen them try and reach out and actually talk to students and see what they're looking for and try and incorporate that into their campaigns.
And I've just been, getting my name out there and meeting as many people as possible in a short amount of time. I haven't seen anybody else do this, not that I know of yet. But I don't know, it just seems like everybody's going really hard this year and everybody really wants it.
Because competition is stiff, Crosby hosted a special student discussion panel last Wednesday night in order to give the candidates a chance to promote their platforms and interact with voters.
The students are taking their, they're holding us accountable to what we have in store for next year, and I think that that's what's changed for this election.
Although all of the candidates do have a strong desire to win, they are more concerned with getting the students involved in campus affairs.
It's not about us. It's not about the changes we want to see. It's about the changes that the students want to see, because we're a student body association. And so we should be interacting and knowing what the students want and giving it to them.
Because of the passion they share for their jobs and for the student body, the candidates know that the turnout will be a good one for the university, regardless of how the students vote this week.
Running against Liz and Tyler is so much fun because they're such good friends of ours, and we're just having like a really friendly kind of competition, having a good time with it, because either way we'll just be thrilled with the result for next year, because the two of them would do a fantastic job as well.
Campaigners hope that their efforts and hard work over the past couple of weeks will lead to a high voter turnout, something that has been an issue for elections of the past. From Crosby, Denny Hawkins, GUTV.
Denny, great job on the package. Thank you for your contribution to GUTV Bracketology. Great use of the world as your tripod. You're picking up on some important lessons there in 303. Great job. Now, for you alumni, it wasn't the story or the content that was entirely different than you might remember. It was what was used to tell the story, and that is this Kodak ZI-8.
Just to give you an idea, this is my Droid X phone, and actually it's a little bigger than the Kodak ZI-8. Now, the reason we switched over from the Sonys that most of you alums were used to is because for two reasons, actually. It gives 303 students greater media access. If I remember right, Dave, I think every student in 303 gets one of those. On top of that, it teaches you what kind of meaningful impact you can have while working with such a small medium and such a small investment. Now, Dave, what did you learn when you were shooting on the ZI-8s?
Well, it can certainly be a challenge. I mean, it is pretty small, so it can be tough to steady your shot and get good footage. But I mean, shooting through challenges is one of the things you can expect here in the broadcasting program. But what happens when technology throws a monkey wrench into your problems?
That leads us into our alumni question of the week. Sean Ryan wanted to know from Phil Taylor, what's the craziest engineering fix you've ever had to accomplish?
One of the instances, a student came in to me and had a camera and it was in two pieces. The lens was disconnected from the camera, and I went to Dan and says, I have good news and I have bad news. He says, well, what's the bad news first? Well, the camera is not feasible to fix. Well, then what's the good news? We now have a teaching tool. This can be used to teach transduction as far as the cameras are concerned.
For someone who claims he doesn't like to be on camera, Phil's got some pretty good stories to tell, and I just want to say I think that's kind of a unifying theme. Obviously, storytelling is a huge part of broadcasting, and you can definitely get some good stuff out of people who are both on camera and behind the scenes. Now, speaking of good stories, we got a second alumni question of the night for you. The alums out there want to know, Dave, what was the best show in the history of GUTV?
Well, we promised you two people who were involved in that show, and those two people are sitting right here, David.
You and me. Shameless plug, I guess, but let's get into the show, Dave. What's a little bit of background that they should know?
Well, it was the first ever 3 for GU this week, and that's a new rating system Professor Garrity has where he rates his shows from 1 to 3, and for us, it was pretty memorable.
It was a pretty good show. It was the last GU this week of the semester, and I honestly want to say leading up into that, That's what kind of built it up, as we came so close to getting threes. It seemed like it just came down to one major error in the show, but everything else was good. We put everything together. I ran the graphics system. I still don't know how I was able to pull it off, but it was a lot of fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I performed a live shot in that show, performing in Crosby. Did a great job. I had a good time. Nerve-wracking doing a live shot. I enjoyed it, though. It was a really good time.
And I think one of the best parts was at the end when the credits are rolling. You know, you can see Dan. He knows we're about to get out of there on time. He's jumping around the studio, and at the end, he's just dancing around saying, "It's a three, it's a three." Probably the most fun I've honestly had over-undering a cable, getting to watch that kind of reaction.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have here on GUTV Bracketology, and hopefully you thought this show was a three.
Well, I'm David Gentili, and hey, once again, like we said last week, this is a learning process, so any suggestions or comments, or if you want to give us props, we like those a lot too, send an email to garrity@gonzaga.edu.
Thank you very much for tuning in, and stay tuned for the final installment of GUTV Bracketology next week.